Welcome to Fondy Famous. I'm your host, Kelly Northley with eXp Realty. Today we're back at mcnamara&thiel Insurance, and we are speaking with Julie Hilbert to get to know a little bit about what got her here and why she loves it so much. So if you would, just kind of take it away.
All right, thank you. I was the benefits specialist for Fond du Lac County, started in 2003. I am from this area, and that seemed to be a good fit at the time. I had a paralegal, or have a paralegal degree, and so with that and the knowledge of elder law and things like that, that's how I got in my position in the county. I was there for 15 years, and basically I was the person that people would go to answer goofy questions or very trying questions about issues they were having with getting onto Medicare and then the different insurances that came along with it, as far as, Part D and the supplements or Advantage plans. So with that knowledge, I was there for 15 years and were trained pretty regularly for the state. And then in 2018, or actually 17, at the end of 17, my son got diagnosed with cancer. And so in order to have a better flexible schedule and not having to worry about whether or not I can stay home with him as he is going through his journey, I decided to come on board. And it has been wonderful. They are a great place to work for and with. They were able to give me a very flexible schedule, and I was able to hang with my son and go through his ordeal with him and the family. And so it's been really well received and all that good stuff. As far as McNamara here, I do all of the Medicare, supplemental plans, Medicare Advantage plans, prescription drug plans. I also started up with the ACA, which is also the marketplace. And that's for individuals that want to retire early or are self-employed and don't have an opportunity for a group plan under an employer. Okay. So I have a lot of those folks that get that insurance so that they have some coverage, that they don't feel that they're going to lose the bank if something major happens to them. So that was really good to be able to offer that, because back in the day there was no offer of individual insurance, and it's now nice to be able to get those folks hooked up and set up so that they're not having to worry about losing the farm if something happens to them.
Right, and you're able to educate them on things that they wouldn't have otherwise known were out there to do. Right,
because most of them are coming off of let's say, an employer group plan or something that they kind of had before but wasn't really understanding. If they needed to go, they just go. But we try to make sure that they understand kind of what the plan is about and how it works, and how the deductible goes on, and co-pays for medications or for appointments and things like that, so that they have a better understanding and a better feeling that they do have coverage, that they can go if they need to, and if something happens, they're not gonna be all out.
Right. So they're covered.
Yeah.
Prepared. Okay.
Also, we do like travel insurance for folks. That's a medical travel insurance if you're going outside the country. Okay. Those policies there, it's $1 million a person for coverage from the time they're gone to the time they come back, so that if something would happen, their first primary insurance comes first, your travel comes next, and like I said, then they have that peace of mind that if something does happen, they can have that insurance.
Do they purchase that if they're leaving, or is that just kind of if they're traveling?
I tell folks when we first talk about insurances, especially with Medicare and stuff, that their initial insurance will have some coverage for out of country, but I also mention the fact, hey, if you do go somewhere, it's from when your boots leave to when your boots come back. For that time, that is extra comfort of a policy that can cover them a little more than what they would have if they didn't take it at all.
I would never have thought about insurance when you go out of the country, and I know some people that they probably have to think about that. I would have never thought about that.
Right, and older people too, when they're going out to visit friends or relatives, or visit the awesomeness of the world and everything in it, if something would happen, what they have currently with their current plan would never, unfortunately, get their body back.
Wow.
And that's an issue. I mean, that does come up, God forbid, But if something would happen, then they could get back here, and so they don't have to worry about that aspect of it or worrying about their families and having to deal with that. It's a peace of mind thing more than anything.
Right, absolutely. And I know a lot of insurances, but you don't need it until you need it, right?
Right, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So tell us about your experience in doing this. Like, what have you learned in the last, you said 20 years of doing it?
Yep. I just kind of break it down. I'm a very matter-of-fact kind of person, and I will answer the questions, exactly. If I'm not sure, I will definitely do the research and get back to folks. I've got quite the reputation that, if they need anything, I'm right there. And they feel comfortable. A lot of them will say, oh, whatever you think, Julie, whatever it is, And I tell them, this is what I'm selling. This is what I suggest for you. And if it doesn't become a fit, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So if they're not happy with what they have or not understanding it, I am right here to help them out, answer questions, or maybe make a change if they need to.
Right. You can advise them on all of those things and the pros and cons.
Yes, because the people will lose sleep, talk to friends and neighbors who really don't understand it either, and for months prior to be really out of mind, if you will, because they're just so worried about how they're going to get this and how is it going to work and how is it going to be different than what I had before, and so much confusion, and the mailings that they get from all the different companies, and the telephone calls that they receive, and
scam calls
all
too.
The time. We keep pushing home, Medicare does not call you. They would never call you. Neither would Social Security, things like that.
This came up in a conversation I had today, actually, about the elderly being targeted for scams and things.
It's horrible.
Do you guys do any education on that just because you have that clientele?
Yes.
You do?
I tell them all the time. I said, if someone calls you asking, about your Medicare and what you have and, all that kind of stuff, it's not good, because they will get, and it's happened in the past quite often, that they'll get a call or make the call for the 1-800, Medicare, or check your zip code and check to see what benefits you're missing, So they'll call or they'll get called, and who's on the other line is someone that they cannot understand, that they don't check their doctors to make sure it would be in a network, to make sure their prescriptions are covered, none of that. And even if they say, I'm not sure, I want to think about it, some have even been as bad as already signing them up, and a few days later they get brand new cards in the mail and they've been switched. So that's happened more often than I want to admit, but we get them back to where they were and take care of that, because, let's say that they do get it and decide, well, okay, we'll give this a whirl. But if they have questions or have issues or something is not right, they will never find that person again.
Yeah.
They were far gone, and there they sit with all the issues.
Now, you do some education.
Oh, yes.
Correct?
Yep. I do. Well, I used to do a lot of the presentations at the library. Money Smart Week is coming up in April, and I've been asked even after I was done with the county to continue to do the presentations because they're well received, they're well attended. Yeah.
So you do it's the Money Smart, is that what you said?
Money Week is a federal program, if you will, for in the month of April. The local libraries will have a week of money management or insurance 101 or Medicare options and things like that for the whole week, and I've always been asked to go there and do that. So
you guys have a few events coming up here as well?
We do indeed, yes, and that I really like doing that because it opens it up for the people that don't want to go to a company specific presentation. This has options, this is general, this is what it needs. So coming up on March 12th, I have my When I'm 65 presentation. And that is basically from, what happens when you turn 65. If you're collecting Social Security, boom, you get your Medicare automatically. If not, then you got to go get it. And, there's a process, and we walk them right through it. get their prescription lists all taken care of. So if they do take medications, they know that those will be covered. If they have any issues medically, if they're diabetic, or all that stuff takes into consideration when we counsel somebody to be able to pick them the right plan.
Okay.
And we have a really great retention here on all aspects of the insurance, and people feel comfortable at this agency knowing that if they need help, this is right where they come.
Right.
We're doing one with veterans benefits. I used to work closely with the VCO in Fond du Lac County. It was a great guy. Fortunately, he retired, but Dave Tellefson is coming to help us on May 14th.
Okay.
And that's a lot of things that veterans have that people are not aware of, so they want to know what's available, what options they have, and I thought that would be a good one to get them engaged and come over for that.
I wish the military educated more people on what they truly offer, because there's so much.
There is, you have your local VFWs and things like that, but as far as the education, if you don't go ask for it, it's not readily available.
Yep.
So this actually is putting these folks in their faces and going, hey, this is the person that you need to talk to in order to get, whatever you need supported by the veterans.
Yep. Okay.
So that's good. And then on August, I'm doing one called Options for Long-Term Care. So that one is kind of giving people options, because unfortunately Medicare does not pay for custodial care, somebody that can't take care of themselves, toileting or doing chores or things like that. So there is not a whole lot of options, but the options that are out there, people are not aware of.
Right.
So the county with the Medicaid and all that kind of stuff, spousal impoverishment falls in there. There is long-term care insurance, which you'll need to get at a younger age than prior to 65, because it gets rather expensive. So I go kind of over those options. There's now in-home care as opposed to straight having to go to assisted living or nursing home. There's a lot of options that were not around before that are now and people are not familiar with. So
you're just showing them all the options and different things. Okay.
So that was a good one. That was well received. I did that all in conjunction with some funeral homes in the county.
It fits well, though.
It does.
We hate to talk about it, but it does. That
right.
Estate planning and goes hand in hand.
Kind of having your poop in a group, if you will.
Yeah. Yep.
And finally, on September 17th, the final one, when I'm 65, just to gear up, because this is the year 1959, that if they're turning 65, it would be the year that they were born.
Okay.
And that is huge, because we've got baby boomers that started from 1946 to 1964. And these last couple of years, especially the last 3 or 4, has been just crazy with the amount of people that are turning 65 in our area. And we want to make sure that they are well taken care of, understand what's going on, and knowing that they have a place to go to answer questions.
Yeah. I love that you guys have such great seminars. I hope they turn out well.
Yeah. We started that last year. Because of getting people involved and getting the word out. The ones that were the 65, when I'm 65, were the probably well attended programs. These other ones, that's why I want to get more awareness. I had people from the county sheriff's department, talk about identity theft last year. I had somebody from the fire department, about house fires and prevention and things like that. Fortunately, they didn't go over well, but our heart's in the right place. We just have to get more people to see the benefit of something like this in their community.
Yeah.
And it is my goal down the road to have, and I always thought this was funny, but I don't know if you ever watched Sesame Street, but the one song that's Who's in Your Neighborhood? Who are the people in your neighborhood? So yeah, I would like to get people in, or businesses and things like that are on this east side of town to kind of come over, and somebody from Magnesian and somebody from the Foot Clinic and somebody from Festival, or somebody to kind of who's all around here and what do they offer and what are they doing, and with this area being built up and the hospital coming in over at Aurora here, people.
That would be excellent. There's a huge thing for downtown, but you're right. The little outskirts need a
Right.
team too.
Yeah, because people come out here to go grocery shopping, and I'll tell them where we are at, and they're like, "Oh, is that over by festival?"
Yep. Yeah.
So point of reference, but yeah, there's a lot of neat places over in this area side of town, and for the people that live here too, they're not even sure all of what is available, and people keep bringing in businesses and bringing in, new people to town. So that is my goal down the road.
I love that, and I think it could be really useful in this pocket specifically.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you doing this with me.
I thank you for coming. It's nice that we're getting more out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old school kind of girl, so that media stuff, at first I was a little leery or I wouldn't say scared of, but concerned,
Mm-hmm.
going,
Skeptical.
nobody's going to look at this stuff, and my older people don't even know how to turn on a computer, much less, so they have been. And then when I started getting more emails from clients as opposed to phone calls, I almost flipped my lid going, oh, really? Oh my goodness. Okay.
And so many of them are on socials and stuff now
Yes.
too.
I thought it was so cute. A couple weeks ago, I was at a local restaurant with my family, and in the seats of booths right across from us were two older ladies, probably in their late 70s, early 80s, who were on their phones.
Yeah.
Just like that, like two teenagers. And I had to laugh because I thought that was so darn cute.
Uh-huh.
They're
out there using it.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
And that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Anything else that you'd like to add at all?
Not a whole lot.
All right.
Being Friday and
Right.
gearing up for the weekend.
Yes. Gonna go party, huh?
Well, my husband has for his company their Christmas party, if you
Yep.
will, or end of the year, and that's tonight. So we had our one for here on Tuesday night,
I
and
saw.
so yeah,
You are partying.
I am partying.
Well, enjoy.
I will do.
Enjoy, and thanks again.
Thank you.